Welcome, particularly to those online. Hope you can hear us clearly. My presentation is quite dense in information, so I'm going to have to really power through it. It's a bit of horizon scanning, looking at what vaccines are going to be emerging in the next 12 to 24 months. And we're moving through by, okay, just my disclosures. And so for this presentation, I made a search of the TGA website. There's a particular area there where they have all products that have been submitted for evaluation. And so I went into that link and looked for any that may have been vaccines. We also approached vaccine companies and vaccine suppliers in Australia and just asked them for top-line details on any new vaccine products or products that they're planning to submit for new indications or dosing recommendations, which were expected to be approved by the TGA in the next 12 to 24 months. And so these were the companies we approached, number of products that they were planning or estimating to come through. A couple of the companies advised that they're unable to disclose any pending registrations. So first off the block is a vaccine that's just actually been approved as of last month, in the last couple of weeks, and its name is Vaxchora, and it's a new cholera vaccine being supplied by BioSelect. It's a live attenuated bacterial vaccine that's given orally, single dose. And its approved indication is for active immunisation against disease caused by Vibrio cholerae, serogroup 01 in adults and children from 2 years of age travelling to cholera-affected countries. This vaccine actually has been available internationally for a number of years now, first registered in the US in 2016. So there's quite a bit of experience with it overseas, but will be new to practitioners here in Australia. Vaccine efficacy is summarised in the slide here. Number of studies have been conducted evaluating its efficacy and safety. This particular one was a human challenge study. Which enrolled 197 volunteers aged 18 to 45. A subset of these that had received the vaccine and placebo were challenged with a live administration orally of the Vibrio cholerae bacteria and assessed at day 10, and a second set was assessed 3 months post-vaccination. Vaccine efficacy estimates at the 10-day challenge point was 90.3%, so in reducing moderate to severe diarrhoea, and 79.5% in reducing moderate to severe diarrhoea at the 3-month time point. Vaccine was well tolerated compared to the placebo, with only diarrhoea being more common in vaccine recipients when compared to the placebo recipients. And this vaccine should be administered at least 10 days prior to potential exposure to cholera. The new big kid on the block is the RSV vaccine. These vaccines actually have been under development for quite a while, and a couple of them have not eventuated, and suddenly we have 3 that look like they're just around the corner, 2 of which have already been approved or licensed overseas. So that's the GSK product and the Pfizer product, and we also have a Moderna product. So the GSK product, I'd just like to also acknowledge Dr. Gemma, I need to go back to her surname, Saravana, but she gave an update on RSV vaccines a couple of weeks ago, and she was able to provide me with a couple of her slides, so I thank her for that. The GSK vaccine, Arexvir, is a pre-fusion protein adjuvanted subunit RSV vaccine, adjuvanted with the AS01E adjuvant, and its proposed indication is for the prevention of lower respiratory tract disease caused by RSV in older adults aged 60 years and older. Vaccine efficacy was assessed in a very large phase 3 randomised control placebo, was saline in more than 17 countries, recruiting more than 24,000 participants aged 60 years and older. These countries were located both in the Northern and Southern Hemisphere, and the study was conducted over 2 RSV seasons. Vaccine efficacy estimates are summarised with overall efficacy of 75% over 2 seasons. Vaccine was well tolerated with slightly higher local and systemic reactions in the vaccine group compared to the placebo group. This vaccine is a single dose vaccine given intramuscularly. Similar to that is the Pfizer vaccine. It's a bivalent pre-fusion F protein RSV vaccine, non-adjuvanted. Similar indication for the older adults, but it also has applied for a maternal immunisation indication for the protection of newborn infants. This particular indication has been approved in Europe, but not yet in the USA. Again, a really large phase 3 randomised placebo-controlled study using vaccine buffer as the placebo in 7 countries, both in the Northern and Southern Hemisphere, conducted over 2 RSV seasons, large number of participants, more than 36,000. Vaccine efficacy estimates, again, very similar, 84% over 2 seasons in preventing RSV-associated lower respiratory tract disease. Again, vaccine safety, tolerability was similar between the 2 groups of vaccine versus placebo, with slightly higher reactogenicity of local and systemic reactions in the vaccine group of 1% versus placebo 0.7, and it's also a single dose given intramuscularly. With respect to the maternal immunisation indication, it's been assessed in a large study in more than 7,000 pregnant women, and assessed vaccine efficacy in babies, so protection of RSV in newborns up to 90 days post-birth, with the vaccine reducing the risk of lower respiratory disease due to RSV by 82% in the vaccinated versus the placebo babies. And this was also maintained up until 180 days with vaccine protection of 70%. In the mothers, vaccine reactogenicity was primarily injection site pain, muscle pain, headache, more common in the vaccine group, and there were no safety signals. This is to be given as a single dose to pregnant women between 32 and 36 weeks gestation, IM. And then the Moderna vaccine has very quickly snuck in and submitted their file just in the last couple of months, which is a nucleic acid-based vaccine of mRNA for RSV pre-fusion F protein for prevention of RSV-associated lower respiratory tract disease in adults 60 years and older. Its phase 3 study is ongoing in more than 22 countries. It enrolled around 37,000 participants. And again, this is just the vaccine efficacy estimates for 1 RSV season of 83.7% in reducing the risk of RSV-associated lower respiratory tract disease as defined by 2 or more symptoms in the vaccine group compared to the placebo group. And then when you looked at a slightly more severe form of RSV or more specific definition of RSV, looking at 3 or more symptoms, vaccine efficacy was at a similar level, 82.4% protection against disease versus placebo. Vaccine safety was reported to be, the vaccine was reported to be well tolerated, had favourable safety outcome. Solicited adverse events were mild to moderate and included injection site pain, fatigue, headache, myalgia, and arthralgia. And this is also given as a single dose intramuscularly. All these vaccines, these 3 RSV vaccines, I understand, would be given every 2 years. Sorry, we just skipped. So I'm just slipping this one. It's not strictly part of the methodology as it's not a vaccine, but just to make you aware that there is also a new long-acting monoclonal antibody providing passive immunisation against RSV, which is to target infants and young children less than 24 months of age who are at high risk of developing severe RSV disease. So at the moment, there is a monoclonal antibody, but it's a short-acting monoclonal antibody, which needs to be given every month to infants who are sick with RSV. And this will be a new product that's cheaper than the current product and also longer acting. And generally, you'd be giving, well, it'd be a product that would be administered to children who are highlighted at risk of getting RSV or severe complications from RSV, and they'd be given the product at the beginning of the season, or if they were born during the RSV season. Oh no, really? Really? Can't be. So just quickly, Pfizer has a pentavalent A, B, C, W, Y vaccine in the pipeline, single dose for 10 to 25-year-olds. Sorry, not single dose, 2 doses 6 months apart. I'm going to jump through it. There's a chikungunya vaccine, which I'm really excited about for one of my areas of expertise is travel medicine. This is planned to be submitted to the TGA next year, and it will be a single dose vaccine for the prevention of chikungunya disease. So that's really exciting. I'm really skipping now. There's an age extension indication for the Pfizer Prevnar 20. At the moment, it has an adult indication. It's approved in Australia for adults, but they're extending the age down to 6 weeks of age. And for the paediatric population, it would be given as a 4-dose vaccine at 2, 4, 6, and then 12 to 15 months of age. There's a strain update for 2 of the COVID-19 vaccines. Both the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are updating their vaccine with the XBB.1.5 Omicron specific spike. And just slipping in here, that the rabies pre-exposure vaccination schedule is going to be amended, and that will take effect in the new immunisation update at the end of this year, where 2 doses rather than 3 will be recommended, given 0 to 7 days apart. And if then the traveller has a rabies exposure event, that will be recognised as sufficient to avoid the need for the immunoglobulin. And then just finally, Adacel is submitting their, Sanofi is submitting their Adacel vaccine so that it will be a fully latex-free. They're estimating for that to be available in 2025.